Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. I am getting motivated for the day. I'm still I'm still working with my evolution. The hot flash is still kind of happening, but not as prevalent. I've remedied overnight where I'm like sweating overnight. I don't even feel the flush come overnight, but I do still take a cold, wet washcloth and put it over my head. But I didn't need too much of it last night. So it still kind of happens, but not as frequent. Okay. And you could probably say it's menopause, but if you look up all the symptoms of menopause, I don't exhibit even half or even a third of it. Maybe like one or two symptoms in menopause that I experience, but no one has ever no one has ever contemplated or even considered indefinite life and doing the J juice and facing all your demons and not taking antibiotics or anti-inflammatories or antifungals or antivirals, or not taking them for symptoms. And so when you actually face symptoms and you see them through, which you'll never see all over the internet. I mean, you can look up menopause symptoms if you're on the J juice and you've gone through most of your issues, and you'll never see anything that says that it is a symptom of indefinite life. Of course not. Because what I proposed a couple years ago is that uh, at some point you will not need to drop eggs because eggs are an insurance policy on a dying body, and you will be the best copy. You'll be peaceful, aligned in body, mind, and spirit, and you're not going to be competitive. Now, if I wanted to go and work out and then join a soccer team, yes, I could probably go and do that as a fun thing, not as something that is part of my overall programming as far as self destruct, because that is the programming of our society. That's the programming of the Roman gladiators. They were programmed to self destruct, they were programmed to overtake each other. And then at some point, they wouldn't have what it takes, and then a newer, younger gladiator would kick their ass. That's no different than football. That's no different than all these different sports teams. That's why physical education is bred into our population and why it's in compulsory education, because it reinforces the competition, reinforces the self destruct at some point. The debates is like a self destruct as well. There's always going to be a winner, there's always going to be a loser. And even though it may happen on the micro level, but I wouldn't call, at the micro level when life wins out, because you don't want to die. Okay. And so it's about balance. How do you balance out your environment? It's not about winning or losing. It's not about you overtaking somebody else. It's about survival and thriving and balance. I mean, you wouldn't tell a sports team, well, let's balance out the scores and you kind of hold back and they score a point, but then, we should score a point. But no, the other team is not going to want you to score a point at all whatsoever. They don't want to allow you to get to their level. It's all about who is overtaking who. Okay? And so, even with life and death, it's not really about competition, it's still about balance. So, it's nice when kids play t ball and the outcome of the game is not the focus. It's the fact that they're playing the game, they're having fun, and it's about learning the rules. But then as you get older, it becomes more intense because there has to be a winner, there has to be a loser. It happens in basketball, football, all sports. Some sports are very, very bloody and very, very, very competitive. And but that is a an indicator of self-destruct when you're highly competitive with other people, like highly. I was I played sports a lot. I was bred to be very competitive. I competed with my mom. My mom, when we played racquetball, would not. She holds no prisoners. She will kick your ass. She may not have the strength like the other men when she plays against other men, but she had the technique. And so, and that's the thing is like, and this is what our society's become is it's not about the strength of how you overtake somebody, it's the technique and the strategy. Oh, so we can't genocide you with concentration camps, but we can go take biotechnology and manipulate your microbiome to cause you to self-destruct at some point, and then you embrace it and like it, and it becomes part of your landscape. That's the ultimate strategy of competition is where your opponents are just self-destructing on the field and they're asking for it. Hey, yeah, please score a goal against me in front of everybody. I remember feeling the anxiety of being a goalie with some of these teams that I played with, and I played with women that were like built like Amazons, and they were aiming the ball right for my face a few times. And yeah, I did hyperextend, hyper extend or hyper whatever it is my wrist where I stopped playing because it became too aggressive. The women they took no prisoners that I played with. This is in San Francisco. I played when I was a kid too. So competition is bred in the population because it is about self-destruct and annihilating your opponent in some way or another. And that's what this thing with the taking the sides. Democrat, Republican, pro jelly juice, anti jelly juice, pro salt, anti salt, the bully syndrome, predator and prey, the human trafficking. It's all about annihilating your opponent. First cannibalizing them in some way and then annihilating them. But that shows your own self-destruct when you're cannibalizing somebody else. When you're in a competition where it is not about the way you play the game, it is not about uh, the fun of it. It's about a winner and a loser, and how do you annihilate somebody else? How do you annihilate somebody else? And so you're seeing, yeah, the sun come. I think it's the sun that's coming in. Okay, it's like 9:13. I would imagine the last time seeing that little blue haze and then the white light come through was around the same time. But though seasons are changing and days are getting longer, so I'm sure it's gonna shift. But I don't put it past that there are spirits. Okay, so I have the blinds open in case you're seeing that. But anyways, so yeah, so competition is bred into the population, self-destruct, self-annihilation, cannibalizing the people around you in some way, shape, or form, trying to be better, compete, even competing with yourself. You don't want to compete with yourself. You just want to be better. You want to be, balanced, more balanced than yesterday. You want to have a higher intellectual form of thought process. You want to evolve to a different mentality. When it's all about the bodily pleasures or displeasures, morning Emily. When it's all about competition, when it's all about oh God, I mean you destroy yourself. I've done it. I've been in boiler rooms, where I'm selling insurance and it's all about competition and who sells the most insurance in this boiler room. And so you will drink a bunch of coffee and you'll be so strategic. I was doing strategies up the yin yang, figuring out the system and trying to intercept calls and knowing how the computer system works. I remember how strategized I was, and it was like, and it's like dog eat dog. It's like you will walk over somebody else just to be number one. That's what's also in the insurance world. That's what's in. It's a competition of marketing. That's capitalism. It's competition, dog eat dog. What company can overtake and take all of the market, value or whatever, market share. Okay, and so if you happen to corner the market because you have something that nobody else has, and not because It's like what other people have, but it's life giving, and it gives, and it changes biochemistry. That may naturally happen where people will gravitate towards you, but when you live in a world where everyone has competition and self-destruct bred into their body, mind, and spirit, facing pain and facing your evolution is not first and foremost in any of these companies that are promoting swift competition with each other, because they don't want to be taken off. They don't want to be taken off the market for however long. Because yeah, when you're doing JJ's, you're going to change your biochemistry. You're not going to lose your edge. You might for a minute while you're dealing with your predispositions, and some people need to stay in that rhythm. They can't afford to break the rhythm that they're in. So they got lucky they have these hormones where they have so much adrenaline. And you've seen it. I mean, I watched the Watts family thing on Netflix, and I already watched it before when it came out. Shanann Watts and that guy, I forget his name. But she built her own house in the beginning before she met her murderous husband. She worked her ass off. She had the adrenaline. She did all by herself. She had the genetics. She had the chemistry to be able to build her own house. And then one day, lupus took her out of the game. She was destroyed by an autoimmune disorder. Okay? And that's her body trying to evolve. It couldn't be on that a continuous adrenaline where she was building her house and being competitive and kicking everybody's ass. It doesn't last long. Your rise to the top in whatever company you have when you're not doing JJ's is not going to last long. Slow and steady does win the race, even not so much fast and steady, but steady does win the race because you're going to outperform, because you're going to outlive all of your competition. But you're not going to know this if you're not on JJ's. You're going to take whatever genes you have, how lucky you have that they're so full of adrenaline, and you're going to exploit your hormonal gift. And why is it a gift? Because in this competitive world, you can't afford to take some time off and regenerate and prolong your life. You have to stay with whatever genetics that were given to you. Some of you never had that opportunity to be that consistent and that successful in our society as far as no break in your adrenaline, no break in your ability to produce on a continuous basis. So some people have been given that gift of a continuous productivity. Other people have had issues along the way. They want to be. That was me. I wanted to be so productive all the time. I wanted to be a dude. I wanted to be a dude, and I'm a tiger, in the Chinese New Year, Vietnamese New Year, and I was competitive. I was cannibalizing people left and right. I didn't mind stepping on other people to get ahead. Okay? And then my own sickness took me out. Yes, Emily, you do have increased, I believe it, increased clarity. And so now the new world is not about competing and cannibalizing your friends and family and other people that you don't even know. It really is about slow and steady wins the race. It is about, yes, mental clarity, increased clarity. It's about facing your demons. You know, it's not easy right now. Me dealing with my evolution because I'm still evolving. The fact that I'm not getting my period is a trip. I have little bumps on different parts of my body, only itching like on my ankles and on my inner arms and the insides of my legs, but not anywhere on, my reproductive system. Itching like, in my neck area type of thing, my underarms and all that. And so, but I don't have the thin skin and all the other symptoms that menopause has. But I definitely see a decrease in my estrogen levels, but it's not affecting my mental clarity. It's not affecting anything else except my skin and the temperature of my body rising and falling every so often. Not as bad as it was a couple weeks ago, but I definitely know it's there. So, evolving is not fun, it's not easy. But you can still produce while you're evolving. It's just a matter of, are you in a high stakes game like competition, like insurance sales or sales in general? And are you sacrificing yourself for the company? You know, that's what our world is. I mean, someone said that they're shedding their slave meat suit. Not that they're shedding their meat suit, but they're shedding um, their slave hologram of their body or something. Because yes, reproduction, getting your period, is a slave hormone. Okay, because you're not allowing to fulfill your ultimate potential. You're kind of like, like stock human cattle to somebody else. I mean, you know that you have a social security number, you have a specific number, you're being traded on the market. Your life is worth something because go and get life insurance. You can see how your life is worth. They look at everything. Your ability to produce, then your lifestyle, and that's how they determine what your premiums are and how much a person could afford to get when someone dies. Okay? That's how you know you're just a commodity. You're human cattle. Now it's time to let go of that mentality that you are human cattle and that you're made to go and annihilate somebody else. And then when you're not producing, you're like garbage. That's the old world mentality. Now we have to really look at a new world and not fulfill the self-destruct programming. To understand that this voting and these debates and then the sports and the competition between whatever is all about self-destruct. When you want to annihilate somebody else's body, mind, and spirit, it means that you have accepted your own annihilation of your own body, mind, and spirit because they are a reflection of you and you are a reflection of them. And so you could see who are really people who are major nihilists or major self-destruct or those that came after me in the beginning. But then you look at their lifestyle and you look at what it is that they support and what it is their whole occupation is about, cannibalizing other people and annihilating them. But they really have, that their days are numbered too, because that's their mentality. They're going to do it to themselves. They're going to do it to others. I know, sugar. I got to take my dog out. So, anyways, I make this short just because, you know, dealing with my own evolution. So, I will talk to you guys later, but understand that competition and, yeah, is the ultimate, and debates is the ultimate promotion of self destruct in body, mind, and spirit. And when you instill that into your children, they will self destruct at some point, and some faster than others. All right, do the J juice, change your biochemistry, stop self destructing, and stop cannibalizing your friends and family. All right, bye.